Greetings, everyone. This is another edition of Speak the Truth. The title of this video is The Split Second Before First Life. The subject matter today, we're looking at abiogenesis. Abiogenesis is the notion that life came about through chemical reactions, just natural processes or chemical reactions within nature, and that at some point in the early Earth time period, that's where life originated, or that's where it began. Well, of course, that is, I mean, it's fairy tale to say the least. And basically, abiogenesis is dead in the water. It's a dead end notion. And I would challenge or invite anyone on this post below in the comment section. If you want, I'm not going to, obviously in 10 minutes, this video is going to be about 10 minutes, to do any major, heavy discussion, but I welcome anyone who wants to debate or would care to debate, and I really don't care what your credentials are, because you can't defend something that's totally dead end. I don't care. I mean, you can use big words and what have you, but it's just an understanding of the origin of life that no amount of big words and scientific notions and ideas is gonna get across this big gaping chasm that's associated with trying to explain or even come up with anything that would remotely make sense as to how life could just come into existence from mere chemicals. It cannot. There's no proof, and there never will be, because it just simply didn't happen that way. The split second, and that's what I want to focus on today, the split second before first life. Now, first life, I think, is a concept. Obviously, if there's no life and natural processes brought about life, then there has to be the idea, a concept of a first life. When it first clicked, the first spark of life, when it clicked. What were the conditions? There's claims in Miller Urey experiment back in the 50s, supposed to, not prove, because it didn't prove at all. The experiment was totally controlled, and to produce the results that they wanted. It didn't show anything about nature accomplishing anything. And so, but first life, there has to be a point when life first come into existence, and I titled this video "The Split Second Before First Life," is because that split second before first life will destroy every theory in abiogenesis, or every notion that one could possibly produce or come up with. Because if you understand first life instantly coming into existence, well, if you back up a split second before first life, what do you have? Well, see, first of all, you got to understand that there's no such thing as something being kind of, sort of alive. Either you have life and you have all the functions and the intricate dynamics and systems associated with maintaining life. Either it's there and is fully functional, or it's not. There is no such thing as something being kind of, sort of, or halfway on the way to living. There's no concept whatsoever. Something cannot be kind of, sort of alive. Again, either it's alive or it's not. So when you back up to that split second before, let's just give abiogenesis okay, we're going to give you first life. But let's back up the split second before first life, and let's examine what we have here. Then we would have to have then something that's not living. Okay, the split second before first life, you have material that's non-living. It can't be kind of, sort of living. It can't be halfway living. There's no such thing. Either it's alive or it's not alive. And so if you have non-living material, the problem that you're going to have with life coming out of no life is that in that non-living material, there's nothing in that material that has a propensity towards life. There's nothing in non-living material that has a bent or a propensity to come alive. And again, in nature, there's nothing in nature that would make material that's non-living material. Bear in mind, it has no need for nutrients. It has no need for to be able to process nutrients and convert it into energy. Systems such as that. It has no need to be able to handle waste and elimination of waste. It has no need for respiration. It has no need for any of the functions associated with living. So then how could these functions exist? Now, mind you, the split second before first life, you have non-living material that has no need for anything, any systems necessary for sustaining life. So how would these systems be fully developed in non-living material, ready to just boom? If we took Miller-Urey's notion, some lightning strike, okay, so let's go with the lightning strike, this non-living material, or near this non-living material. This non-living material has no propensity, no need for any systems associated with life. There is no plausible under the sun or anywhere else as to how you would have systems that are associated with life and the sustainment of life and the carrying forward of life in time. Material that has no propensity whatsoever for these types of systems. How would all of these various systems be there in this non-living material just sitting there waiting for a lightning bolt? Now, mind you, all of these systems would have to be totally and fully developed. Even if we were waiting on this lightning bolt to strike, how in the world could you have in non-living material? Listen, folks, in the most simplest form of life, a cell. Let's go with a cell, a prokaryotic cell. Well, that prokaryotic cell, it still has to be self-contained, meaning it has to have some sort of a cell membrane or something to hold all of the necessary functions and systems together. Okay, where would that membrane come from in material that has no need for such a membrane whatsoever? This membrane has to be able to process and allow into that cell nutrients and block out anything that would not necessarily need to be in that cell, such as the nutrients. Well, that's intelligence. How would some membrane in non-living material sitting there ready for a lightning bolt, how would it be ready to understand how to process nutrients, how to let what's into the cell and needed in the cell into the cell, block what's not needed into the cell out of the cell, and have the channels that would have to be specialized for such transport there to do it? And what information would govern this passing in and out of the cell and the control of it? But all of it sitting there in non-living material waiting for a lightning bolt so it can kick in and start symbiotically functioning and harmoniously functioning with all the other various systems that would be necessary for life, such as I mentioned earlier, nutrients. This cell would have to have systems that could identify nutrients, process those nutrients, convert them into energy, and use it in the cell. Well, who would tell the cell, well, where does the energy need to be used? Well, it needs to be used in processes that the cell necessary for life would have to have functioning, such as the nutrient system, the elimination system. You got to have a way to burn that energy and then eliminate the waste. Well, that's information. That's intelligence. Who would tell this system, this cell, how to eliminate and what is needed to be eliminated? And we could go on and on. I'm running out of time. We could go on and on about all the various systems necessary for life. How to maintain proper temperature so you won't freeze to death. All of these are intricate systems that work associated with life. Why would this be a non-living material sitting there waiting on a lightning bolt? Who can explain that? Well, no one. and I'm out of my time. But God bless. Hope this information helps you out and understand abiogenesis is a dead end street. Let me stop this. And the split second before first life destroys abiogenesis. Blessings.